So this was kind of an odd game just because, well, Minnesota was resting people, so we got to see some unusual cast of characters here. But Chicago ends up winning it 21-19. They improved to 8-8. Minnesota finishes the season at 10-6. Trubisky finished 26 of 37 for 207, a 5.6 average. Didn't throw a touchdown, didn't throw an interception. He was sacked 4 times. He lost 28 yards and a quarterback rating of 84. So David Montgomery kind of carried them today. 23 carries for 113 yards and a 4.9 average. He did score once. Besides that, he didn't really get much. Tariq Cohen carried for 20. Cordero had 14. Ryan Nall 8. Allen Robinson had 2 yards, and Mitchell Trubisky had 1. So 34 carries for 158 yards for a 4.6 average, with a bulk of the work being done by David Montgomery. Now, receptions, Allen Robinson led them 9 of 12 targets for 71 yards. Riley Ridley, 3 of 4 for 54. Tariq Cohen, 9 of 10 for 44. Javon Wims, 3 of 7 for 23. Eric Saubert, 1 of 1 for 10. And Anthony Miller caught his lone target for 5 yards. They were 7 of 16 on third down, so 44%. 1 of 2 on fourth down at 50%. They were 1 of 5 in the red zone at 20%. 3 for 39 yards of penalties, and 37 minutes and 40 seconds of time of possession. Now, Minnesota, they played a bunch of backups today. Sean Mannion in for Kirk Cousins. He throws 12 for 21, 126, 6.0 average. Didn't throw a touchdown. He threw 2 interceptions, although I don't think those are necessarily his fault. One was a Hail Mary. The other one was basically thrown out from Mike Boone's hands into the defender. Didn't get sacked, but I do think pressure was kind of spotty today with just the protection in general. It felt kind of inconsistent, and that happens with backup offensive line. Had a 35.1 rating. Carrying, Boone kind of shined on the ground today. 17 carries for 148, 8.7 yards average per carry, along of 59 and a score. Abdullah, 6 for 22. CJ Ham, 1 for 4. And Mannion, 1 for nothing. So 26 carries for 174 yards, a 6.7 average, and Boone's score. So receiving, not much was done, at least statistically. Alexander Hollins, 2 for 3 for 46 yards. Olabisi, 3 for 4 for 34. Amir Abdullah, 3 for 4 for 14. Boone, 2 for 3 for 12. Although that one incomplete target is kind of a big one. Irv Smith, 1 for 2 for 11. Conklin, 1 for 1 for 9. And Treadwell and Ham didn't catch their lone targets. They are 4 of 9 on third down, so 44%. Didn't attempt a fourth down. Also 1 of 5 in the red zone, just like Chicago was. So, again, 20%. And 3 for 40 yards. Well, 3 penalties for 40 yards. Held the ball for 22 minutes and 20 seconds. So, I'm going to kind of evaluate this as kind of similar how I would view a preseason game, because I don't think we can take anything of significance from this going forward, but at least for this season. But so starting with the offense, you may need a new backup quarterback, just because I feel like although Mannion, I think he kind of did what you expect a backup quarterback to do. He's very average backup quarterback play. But he's in a contract year. It's up. Do you really re-sign him as a veteran backup? Or would you, given the money situation that they're going to be in, you might want to maybe look to the draft towards the end or the mid rounds? And by mid, I mean more like the 4 to 5 mid, not the 3. Mike Boone, good day. He's continuing to flash. He had some runs of good things and some runs of not so good things, but mostly up for him. I liked what I saw in the run blocking from the backup line. Pass protection, like I mentioned before, spotty at times. He wasn't sacked, but there were certainly pressure moments. Alexander Hollins, I feel like he wasn't the most consistent player out there. He did run a pretty good route, but you see some bursts and you see some things out of the break that you like. You saw a good release. He is a little bit on the smaller side, but he can burn. And you like those things. I thought Olabisi Johnson played pretty well today. Like I said, statistically, the numbers wouldn't say that, but I'm pretty sure all of those catches he made, it was very Jarius Wright-like to me. Whereas like, oh, it's third down, Olabisi. And that's good. We've been missing that since Jarius Wright. We need to cut down on the turnovers though. Started out the game, like I think it was like 3 of 4 drives of turnovers. You had the fumble, then you had the pick, field goal, and then a safety. So got to cut down on those if you expect to make rosters and things like that. And Alexander Hollins does need to catch that one pass that possibly could have had Minnesota at 11-5 somehow out of this. Defensively, I thought from what I saw, I thought Holton Hill did pretty well. Eric Wilson continues to be Eric Wilson, and that's good because I like him a lot. And he's kind of an underrated role player to me, but he's continuing to do Eric Wilson things. The D-line as a whole did really well today. I think Ifeadi Odenigbo, again, was kind of the star of the backup and rotational defensive lineman. Chris Boyd, kind of up and down. Obviously, the biggest down moment being when he fell and Riley Ridley got a 32-yard catch, and that pretty much sealed the game from that point on. And special teams, Dan Bailey, 4 for 4 and an extra point. His lone extra point was made. Good job, Dan. Colquitt also had 52.0 average per punt. He only punted once, but it's a 52-yard punt. It was a pretty good punt. Not bad. And like I said, this is kind of a weird game just due to resting. But in some ways, I kind of wish Jake Browning could have gotten in just to see if he could be the backup quarterback of, going forward. It would have been interesting, but I also understand not getting rid of a roster spot for that because he's on the practice squad. But to be able to see him in this game would have been pretty nice. But it was very preseason-like, and I think this was basically just a measuring stick going forward of like, oh, we have all these young players. Where are they in their development? Let's go see. And that's kind of what they did. This game didn't matter to them. They're like, we're just going to rest people and see where these guys are at. Pretty uneventful. And I'd like to know your guys' comments down below. And liking, subscribing always helps. Until next time, I bid y'all adieu.